Hey everyone, Dominic the Primetime Treasure Hunter here. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can get that's right, all of your shipping supplies for free. So let's start with the most obvious location for doing this, which is the United States Postal Service. You could go into any one of their brick and mortar locations and pick up things like envelopes and boxes for free. This is pretty much what you're going to be limited to. You'll find it on shelves. There's different sizes. So there's small, medium, and large size boxes, and there's different sizes for these envelopes. This is a regular size one. They also have a legal size envelope. You can feel free to take what you need. Don't worry if you empty out a shelf or something like that. They have plenty more in the back to refill it. But if you want a broader selection of different sizes and different options and different materials, I would highly suggest going to the United States Postal Service's website. And yes, it is all free from there. There's no catch. You don't have to pay a shipping charge or a tax or a handling fee, anything like that. It's all for free because the assumption is that you are going to use it for the service that's being provided, which is priority mail. So you're not supposed to take things like boxes like this and use it for padding up things that you're going to send out through media mail or first class mail. So keep that in mind, because then if you don't do that, these things are not going to be available for free for us for much longer. So that's real important. But like I said, there's other types of options that you're going to find there on the website that you're not usually going to find in the stores. A good example of that is this one right here. This is my favorite and most popular item that I like to go to. In fact, my #1 video that I ever did is literally about this particular envelope. It's the padded flat rate envelope. It's great because it affords you much more flexibility and opening compared to the cardboard one, which is quite rigid and will rip easily. So it doesn't give you as much of an entry point. And also this gives you added protection that you don't get with the cardboard envelope because you have the lining of the bubble wrap inside. So this is great, for example, for sending out a pair of jeans, for example, that might be more expensive shipped out by weight and location by using a polymailer. So sometimes you have to check and you just have to enter online and see which one is going to be more expensive to you to ship it out in this or this. But many times this wins out. Sometimes this does, but sometimes this does. So it's good to have different options in your arsenal for what to use. So definitely make sure you stock up on this. This is the one, again, that I go to the most. But I will give a shout out to something that is not often discussed, which is the Tyvek envelope. And this is also good because it's big and it also has a wide entry point and it has additional flexibility. It's made of a different material compared to the rigid cardboard. So just keep this in mind for an option for something bigger that you might want to fit in an envelope type of size. Also remember that at the USPS website, you can get other supplies like labels and tape. So it's priority tape. Just keep in mind, if you're going to use priority tape on stuff, you have to ship it out priority. You can't use priority tape on first class and medium mail items. So just keep that in mind as well. That's the catch in terms of how you get it for free because you're paying up for a higher service. So that's #1, USPS. Now, #2 is one that I think a lot of people are aware of, although not everybody utilizes it. So if you have an eBay store, you will get a promotional credit to use it towards shipping supplies at their store. Now, the amount of promotional credit that you're going to get per quarter depends on the size eBay store that you have. If you have a starter store, you don't get any promotional credit, but if you have a basic store, that's going to give you $25 per quarter. And if you have a premium store, that will give you $50 per quarter. And then the next 2 levels give you $150 per quarter. So there's lots of stuff you could get there. It's mostly envelopes and boxes of different sizes. I love these, for example. I have every single size envelope and box through there. This one I love to use. It's their smaller size. I love to use it for t-shirts. T-shirts fit right in there, really easy. And the good thing here is they have a self-adhesive strip. You just pull it off, flip it over, and you're done. It takes like seconds to mail something out in that. And then there's different sizes here. So you could see here a different size envelopes depending on what it is that you're shipping out. So all sorts of sizes. Same thing with boxes. There's 10 by 8 by 6s. There's 8 by 8 by 8s. There's even smaller ones than that, 8x6x4s. And then there's big ones like this, like 15 by 12 by 4. Now, it is limited in the sense that it doesn't have real massive size boxes. I wish they had something like that, maybe sometime in the future, but I would say they're really small to medium sized boxes there at this point. Now, they do have some other things there. For example, they have eBay tape. A lot of people love to use that. And unlike the priority mail tape, with the eBay tape, you could obviously use that on anything that you're sending out. Doesn't matter what service you're using. Could be priority mail, media mail, first class mail, or even a different carrier like FedEx or UPS. And that reminds me that if you use any of those services like FedEx and UPS, they're also going to have free shipping supplies specific to using their service. So they'll have their own boxes and stuff like that that you could use. So keep that in mind. Now, there's two other websites that you could go to get free shipping materials. One is Craigslist. Check out their free section. You would be surprised how many people are putting up posts for free shipping materials. So all sorts of boxes, for example, are being given away. Sometimes it's from a move. Sometimes it's from a retailer who doesn't want to spend the money and the time to put that stuff in the cardboard compressor and get it hauled away. So if they could just give it to someone in the community that can need it for their business, they'll put up a posting and you could get stuff that way. And it's not just boxes. There's free amounts of bubble wrap, sometimes in large quantities. There's air cushions that are available, foam cushioning, all sorts of things. You would be surprised what you find on there. So make sure you check out the free section on Craigslist. And related to the word free is the next website I want to mention. This one's more obscure, but check it out in your area. It's called FreeCycle. I'll put a link to it down below in the description section. Really cool site. Doesn't cost you anything to use. It's all about trying to recycle materials in your community. So if you have large amounts of boxes or bubble wrap or foam cushioning, all the sorts of things I mentioned on Craigslist, people will sometimes put postings up for that there, and you could just arrange to pick up this stuff in large quantities. Sometimes it's packing peanuts. You never know. You just have to check in your area, and you could set it so that you get automatic emails every day, and you could just check the emails, or you could just do a search for something specifically you're using and find it that way. Now, speaking of recycling and reusing things, there are 3 other places where you could get free shipping materials in this way besides the 2 websites that I just mentioned. Number 1 would be your home. Think about how much stuff is sent to you throughout the week in boxes and in envelopes that are reusable. This is just a classic example, which would be, a small Amazon box that comes your way, but you want to make sure that you're saving things in different sizes because you're shipping things out in different sizes. So you want to have a lot of flexibility. You could see here, this is an example of what I'm talking about. All different sizes you need to have available as your business grows, depending on, of course, what it is that you're selling. And you can nest these things into one another if you want to for storage, as you can see here. Let's see if Primetime could solve the puzzle. I'm usually not good at this visual spatial stuff, but we'll see. I think I'll be able to pull this one off. Wow, a 4-piece puzzle. I solved it. Look at that. Now, if space is a limitation for you, another thing that you can do is you can just take these and you can just open them up and lay them flat and compress them that way and store them on shelves from the biggest on the bottom, on the base, and then just work your way up to the smaller ones. And some people like to mark the dimensions on them as well, so that they know when they're going through, which one they need to pick. But you could also just get all sorts of envelopes and just keep it that way. For example, my wife, Mrs. Primetime, she just gave this to me the other day. She was going through some stuff. She's like, here, you need this? I've got, all these envelopes that you could use. So I just have them down here and I pull from them as needed. Now, yeah, sometimes you have to pull off the label. That's okay. Remember, don't spend forever trying to pick off every little piece. You could just take your label and put it over that one. The main thing to try to get off is any kind of UPC code or anything like that. And don't worry about the Amazon boxes in terms of reusing them. You could reuse them. There's nothing wrong with that, to send out something on eBay in an Amazon box. Happens all the time. It's totally fine. If you feel a little uncomfortable with that for some reason, then just open up the box, reverse the box, and send it out that way. So you just refold it from the inside out, and there you have a nice clean looking box with no label on it whatsoever. So there's lots of stuff that you could get that comes to your home. Another example for me, I buy a lot of graded comic books, and when they get shipped out to me, they come with packing peanuts. And so I just basically, every time I get them, I just put them in big bags like this. So you can see here, I have this whole bag filled with packing peanuts. So that's just available to me when I need it. And I just pull from it whenever. You're also going to get stuff that comes inside of these Amazon boxes and other boxes as protective materials. So for example, you're going to get a lot of these air cushions. So just take these air cushions and just store them somewhere. I've got a whole big in fact, you can see here, I've got this entire hamper just filled up with air cushions. This is just overflow from stuff that I have in another location. So I'm just keeping it there. I keep it near me by my shipping center, and when I need it, I just grab from it and I put it there. Now, another place where you could get free shipping materials to recycle and reuse would be a place of work. So this could be your own separate job outside of reselling, could be part-time, could be full-time. Or if you're reselling full-time, this could be a neighbor, it could be a friend, it could be a local relative, it could be a spouse. Just let them know that you're looking for, free shipping materials, and if they happen to have any in their place of work, they could drop some off to you. Now, in my own place of work, I have a separate full-time job. I get tons of free shipping material there all the time. So, for example, I find stuff myself from stuff that's just sent to me from like tests that I order, test booklets. I just, empty out the boxes and then I just put it to the side and I bring it home with me. Sometimes I'll have some stock of free shipping materials and I'll just keep it in my office. So if you have a place you could keep that stuff, put it there and then just take it home as you need it. Another thing that's important with work locations is to have people there who you are friendly with, and just let them know that you're looking for free shipping materials, because they could be little scouts that could work for you throughout the day to get this stuff. So I have multiple people at my place of work that find free shipping materials for me, and they love to bring it by me. So they'll drop it by my office. They'll keep it in a separate location for me. They'll sometimes send me an email, say, hey, we have stuff for you. They kind of like doing it. It's interesting. So like, for example, I have an occupational therapist down the hall from me who she uses splints. And so she gets boxes like this that are really cool that I could use for free. So I could ship out things like art prints and stuff in here. It's great. So that's perfect, because this kind of thing, if you're buying this, by yourself, that's an extra expense. If you could waive that expense, cut that out, that's more profit for your business. So that's one thing. And then, like these boxes that I showed you earlier, this is a mixture of boxes from home and also some from the workplace. Like this one right here, health performance, this came from a health location. And so good thing about that, there's lots of strong, sturdy boxes that come through there, but also they give me bubble wrap and they give me, where is it? Here. So this is a rolled up thing of bubble wrap, but they'll just give me big bunches of bubble wrap, big, large amounts of air pillows, like I showed you earlier, all sorts of things that you could reuse. Another thing that I would suggest is asking people near the receiving area by your workplace, if you have one, if there is a receiving area, to be able to either go in the room, like permission to go in to check for free shipping materials, or for them to give it to you. But be friendly with everybody. Like I'm good friends at my workplace with the custodial people, with the secretaries, with everybody. Be friends with everybody, because they're all sources for you for free shipping supplies. Again, you got to try it out. You would not believe how much stuff you could get for free there. Okay, so now on to the next place where you could get free shipping materials that you could recycle and reuse would be different places in public. So number one would be a grocery store. So many of you know I ship out all sorts of paper materials like comic books and magazines. And one of the things that I really need, it's absolutely essential, I have to have cardboard that I protect the comics and that I protect the magazines in, and other paper materials. And my favorite go-to place is the bread section at the grocery store. So you can see here, this would be your average size piece that I would pick up. I love this. This comes from Wegmans, but check in your area. They probably have bread boxes like this. You're looking for materials that are sturdy. And that's another point. While we're talking about recycling and reusing things, make sure you're only recycling and reusing things that are, viable options. So in other words, you don't want to ship out things in boxes that are all crushed up and stuff and damaged and stained and that stink. You want to make sure that you're using things that are good. So again, even like with this, you don't want to use something that is like has big like coffee stains all over it, or it's really creased and indented, so it's going to bend when you ship it. That's not going to serve the purpose you want. So you're on the lookout for stuff that is of good quality. But as you can see here, we have multiple panels that we could use. So we could use this panel here, and then we could use the panel on the back, and we could use the panel here and here. So we've got 4 different viable panels that come off of this. So if you want to see what one of those panels would look like cut off, this is a good example right here. And as you can see, it's great for putting the comic book in, and you would just cut around, just trim around it. And then you could use the piece you trim off as a template for the next piece of cardboard and just cut around it that way. So you want to leave a good margin around to protect it. But it's good for comic books, and it's also good for magazine sizes, but it's not good for every size. So example, I sell a lot of art prints, so 11 by 17 art prints. I actually happen to have this one in my eBay store if anyone's interested. I actually have 2 besides the one that's on there, so you can go check it out. It's signed by George Perez and Tom Smith. So a little plug for one of my items. The eBay store is in my description section. But anyway, this is obviously it's too big. You see, it's going to be a problem. So this is why I love to go to places like Costco, if you have any wholesaler that you go to, because you could find these big pieces that they stick between the pallet. In fact, it's so gigantic that I have to actually bend back to show it to you here. But you could see here, it's a great solution for something like an 11 by 17 print, and also bigger posters that need to be shipped flat, or just to give you enough of a surface area to protect whatever it is that needs to be protected. This is obviously going to cover pretty much anything. And you could get them in really big amounts. You need to go back into the area where they crush down the cardboard. It's usually protected by a little gate, and you just have to be proactive. I just went last week, and because I was running out, and I just asked them, I say, hey, could I have some of those that they're going to crush them anyway. So it saves them time, by the way. They don't mind doing this because it saves them work. So they gave me like 15 of those things. So I'm set for a while. It really is awesome when you could get those kind of supplies. So make sure you are checking out your local stores. Now, you want to make sure you avoid liquor stores, by the way, because you're not allowed to ship stuff through the Postal Service in liquor boxes. However, you can get the liquor boxes, and you could cut them up for protective cardboard, like I was mentioning, for something that would go inside the box. So, you have to avoid it in terms of an outer facing label, but you could use it again for protective purposes. Another place you could go to in public would be outside in the back of a store. Sometimes they just have stuff that they're going to discard, and you could go look through that. And then there's also dumpsters. Now, some people will never go inside of a dumpster. I'm not saying to dive in a dumpster, but what I will do sometimes is I will look at some stuff that's clean, that's on the top layer, or sometimes to the side of the dumpster. You never know what you're going to see when you drive to the back of a store. Remember, a lot of people don't do that. They don't drive to the back of the store, but it's available to the public. You could go back there, and sometimes you'll see the workers back there, and you could talk to the workers. You could say, hey, do you have any stuff that you're about to throw out, and see what they have, and you would be shocked how much great free shipping materials that you could get there. And we're not just talking boxes. We're talking things like foam padding, large amounts of bubble wrap, and that sort of stuff. So lots of public locations you could go to. Furniture stores are great. You could get a lot of big, heavy, sturdy pieces through there. You could also go to department stores, find stuff there. And you could also go to places like rug stores, for example, carpet stores, places like Home Depot and Lowe's with tubular shapes like this, that you could sell things like posters in. So that's another option for you for that type of material. Now, I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say, you know what, that's great, Prime Time. You gave me all these examples of places where I could get free boxes. You gave me all examples of where I could get free envelopes, free bubble wrap, free cushioning and stuff, but there's other stuff I need in my business. You might say, like, for example, that 11 by 17 art print of Wonder Woman, that's a shipping supply that's involved there because you have a board and you have a clear plastic covering that's going over it. Or, you know, maybe you need regular just Scotch tape, like invisible tape that you're going to, cut off and tape some things with. And that's not the eBay tape or the Priority Mail tape. What about those types of things? Where do you get that type of stuff? How could you get those things for free? Scissors, scales, those are all technically things involved in your shipping supplies. And you're right, you cannot generally get those types of things for free at the places that I'm mentioning. But here is what I do in that situation to get that stuff for free. So what you could do on Amazon, if you're buying things on Amazon, is you get something called an Amazon Cashback bonus for spending things if you have a credit card linked up. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be an Amazon credit card, but I have an Amazon credit card. So every time I make a purchase, particularly if it's on the Amazon website, they'll give me cashback bonus of 3%. Other places it's 1%, and sometimes they have promotions and specials. But you could also take, if you have a Discover card, you could take your cashback bonus through Discover, go on Discover's website, and you could link your cashback bonus to your Amazon account. So anything then that you go and buy, and sometimes, depending on what your monthly bills are for other stuff, that cashback bonus could really add up. So I buy all of my shipping supplies, or pretty much all of it, through Amazon. And so, I'll get things like large reams of, bubble wrap like this that will come through that. You could get it through, I like the companies Duck and American Bubble Boy. I did talk about places that I get a lot of free shipping materials, such as air pillows and air cushioning earlier from a recycle reuse perspective, but then sometimes I'll also get these big bags of it. You can see behind me, this is a big giant stack of large bubbles. So you need the small and you need the large. So this stuff I generally get off of Amazon. And so my logic behind it in terms of saying why it's free is because, again, it's cash back bonus. It is free money. Amazon is giving you that money. It's money you otherwise would not have had. If you didn't have a credit card linked up through there, you would have spent your money on your average expenses, and then you would have taken your additional money that you had to buy these things. So you don't have to use that additional money. You take the free money that Amazon is giving you and you apply it towards that. Now, there are times once in a while where you might find a better deal on eBay, or maybe a product that you like of better quality on eBay. Maybe Amazon ran out, can't get it to you fast enough through Prime or something like that. Maybe there's a slowdown, maybe they're temporarily out of it. So maybe you want to go to a place like eBay to get it. And so if you want to do that, you could still technically argue there's a way to get that stuff for free, because what I would do in that situation is I would pay, let's say $25 or, whatever it is, $25, $50 for your shipping supplies, actually pay it off on your credit card. And then what you do is you just go and you go back to Amazon, use your cashback bonus for some other purchase that you would have used your regular credit card for. And then you just have to do some mental gymnastics there to tell yourself, well, you know what? I just flipped things around and technically I got this for free because that's what I intended to use it on. And so you just have to do, again, a little bit of reverse psychology on it. But those are all the ways in which I'm getting free shipping materials. If you play the game long enough with this, you can wind up getting every single item that's available on the eBay website, for example, and their shipping supply store. You can wind up accumulating every size box. There could be times where you want to spend, a little bit of your own money to get some stuff if you're really in a dire need. Maybe you ran out of of options, and so you have to spend a little bit. But this should really cover you for the vast majority of what you need, and in many instances could cover you for all of what you need. So I hope that this was helpful. If there are other tips, other ideas that you have, other places where you get free shipping materials, put it down below in the comments, because I would like to see it, and I think other people would like to see it too. I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. Really important. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Cannot emphasize that enough. Make sure you come to my Facebook account, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. We just hit 17,000 members in that group. Lots of cool events going on all the time. Free to join. And in addition to that, by the way, there's my Instagram account. That's at prime_time_treasure. I've got a lot of stuff going on there. And if you're interested in other shipping supplies, places where I get things for my business, things that I use, you could go down in the description section and see links to all different places that I go to. They're affiliate links. They help support the channel. As always, I appreciate your support. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I'll see you at the next video. Take care.